We all deal with stress at work. It's part of modern life. But how do we know when it's normal and when it's hurting us? So today I'm joined again by Ines Hungerbühler, PhD psychologist and head of clinical strategy at Wells by Wellhub, to help us understand the real impact of work stress and what we can do about it. So let's start light. What's something small but non-negotiable that helps you manage day-to-day stress?
I think I make clear breaks, like having my break for lunch, having my break at the end of the day. I'm really closing my laptop and I'm not reopening it again. Otherwise, if there is really emergency, and I'm talking about clinical emergency, everything else can wait normally until the next day. And I'm also never working on the weekend.
Sure, I'm right there with you. I'm very precious about my weekends, so no work on the weekends. We do actually practice what we preach. So question, stress is part of almost every job, let's face it, but what makes stress at work so challenging?
I think stress at work can be especially tough to handle because there's kind of a external pressure as well. We want to perform well, we want to deliver the results. And unlike other kinds of stresses that might come from a single event, like a conflict with a familiar or a friend, work stress often feels like it never ends. Like there's always something coming up. And it's usually not just one problem, but a mix of many things that build up over time. So that might be the challenge. And I think common work-related stress factors include, of course, like a lot to handle, heavy workloads, unrealistic deadlines. I have to do a lot of things in a short amount of time. This is very stressful, of course. Also, the sense of never kind of finishing the work can be stressful. And I think it's very important that we reflect about this relationship. I had that for many years, this feeling of not being satisfied when I close my computer, and I have to normalize that. It's not normal that we have an empty inbox and all the chats and demands responded, and it's not the end of the world. So it's something which is very common. Another thing is when I have little or no say in how I'm doing my job. Like if I'm just receiving more and more tasks and more responsibilities without having a voice in why should I do that and how should I do that. This is very frustrating and can generate more stress besides the workload itself. And then we have a huge stress factor, which is lack of support. Like if I'm isolated, if I'm alone, if I have a poor management, if I'm experiencing a poor management of my leader, that is to say, when my manager doesn't give clear directions or can't offer or is not offering help, is not recognizing my work. We've talked about that in the other episode, and that all can make me feel unappreciated. Like I'm working hard, I have not a lot of decision making here, and I'm not seen. I'm invisible. This is very frustrating. And then we have the negative workplace relationships. Relationships at work are a huge factor of protection. It's a huge factor as well of being happy or satisfied or productive at your work. There are a lot of studies showing that, and those studies also show us that we have generally only 2 to 3 persons at work in which we genuinely trust. That is not much, considering that we are working in maybe teams of 10, 15, maybe even more people around us. So getting along with people at your work is very important. It's like a measure, a huge preventive measure as well, for not developing burnout. There are some organizational things as well, which of course are hard to handle, like job insecurity. If you're not sure about, if you're not sure if you have your job anymore here in a month, so fear of layoffs, fear of not being good enough, not having the skills. We are in a very fast-pacing, changing working environment, especially for like older employees. This can be very frightening and stressful. And I think at the end, and this point has to do with what I answered to you, Amarita, about like how I handle my stress. One of the main factors is the poor work-life balance, or that is to say, not like respecting the boundaries between work life and personal life. And again, like technology, like smartphones, enables us to work from everywhere, which is great, which I enjoy personally a lot. But it has the danger to be always available, always connected. And when you can't fully disconnect and relax, your mind and body don't get the break they need, which can lead to experience burnout. So you see, stress at work is a complex interplay of individual, interpersonal, and also organizational factors that can create a self-perpetuating cycle of pressure, anxiety, negative health outcomes, conflicts with colleagues, and addressing these challenges requires a kind of a multifaceted approach that goes beyond individual coping mechanism. It's not just on the person to prevent it. It's on the organization, on the company as well, to foster a healthier and more supportive work environment for everyone.